What's the most humiliating reason you've ever heard for a teenager to be expelled from school for? My friend was suspended because he was being pantsed continuously one day. After the 4th or 5th time everyone realized he was just pulling his own shorts down quickly in hall between classes. Friend of mine was nearly expelled for actually being pantsed. Some kid kept doing it to her, and they tried to expel her for public indecency. Her parents brought a lawyer in and the school immediately backed off. Far as I know, the other kid never got in trouble. He got suspended for a week because he made a poll of the worst person ever existed. You could answer Adolf Hitler, Osama bin Laden or the principal. Couple got caught having sex in the stairwell, on the stairs in front of the camera. One of the only cameras in school that actually worked. I don't know how it worked at your school, but there was a designated stairwell for this at mine. There was little foot traffic, no cameras, and plenty of used condoms. It was a gross stairwell. We had 2 kids a few years ago who were caught having sex on school grounds. Nothing really that abnormal except that they did it on the school oval in the early hours of the morning and were supposedly caught by the school priest. The priest in question lives on the school grounds and likes to go on walks in the early morning. Can you imagine the conversation that ensued? When I was in junior high, we had a large Hurricane Gloria, which hit our town, and due to electricity being out, trees on the roads, flooding, etc., we were off of school for 2 weeks. My vacation was 2 weeks plus a day, since I was sent home, not expelled, for wearing a homemade shirt that said I was blown by Gloria on my first day back. You're a freaking champ. A kid in my school got suspended for not only masturbating in the hot geometry teacher's class, but not stopping when she caught him. In 5th grade there was a classmate of mine and she was not somebody who bowed to peer pressure. She started intentionally wearing obvious mismatched socks as a sign of her individuality. She was very quiet and did not have many friends. Our teacher noticed the mismatched socks and after a week told the girl to wear matching socks. Keep in mind I am 61 years old and this was a very rural public school back in the day. Well, the next week the girl again was wearing mismatched socks and the teacher sent her to the principal's office. The principal told the girl to write 500 times "I will not wear mismatched socks" and sent a note home to the parents. The next day the girl again wore mismatched socks and the pages she was told to write said "I will wear mismatched socks." The principal was not amused and suspended her for a week. Now I did not know the girl very well, but I sure liked her spirit. I organized a protest of the students to support her. The next morning there were 92 of us standing in the schoolyard and despite all threats we refused to enter the school until the independent girl was allowed in and able to wear mismatched socks. Parents of students were called to come to the school and pick us up because we were all suspended as well. When parents found out what all the ruckus was about they were very angry with the teacher and the principal. Our school did not even have a dress code. At the end of the day the principal caved and gave in to our demands. By junior high school her family moved and I lost track of her. But that day we stood up for her, changed her and she became more outgoing and made new friends. It would be wonderful to find out what happened to her. 2 guys in my school got expelled for stealing a Rice Krispie treat from the cafeteria. This made me chuckle, but I remember how strict my school was on stealing from the cafeteria. Supposedly, if you were to have stolen this Rice Krispie there, you would not only be expelled but criminally charged. This kid in 8th grade, I was a freshman in high school but we all knew him from middle school, was on one of those free webcam sites chatting with girls and was fapping in class. The teacher was newish, probably her 2nd year, and she was probably 25 years old, and when she saw his computer screen she apparently broke down in tears. Kid got expelled quick. She apparently broke down in tears. I know it's an uncomfortable situation but that is a huge overreaction. A girl that was in 9th when I was in grade 10 was expelled for giving head to 3 guys at the same time in a dark auditorium during first block, and on more than one occasion. In 8th grade an older cousin taught me how to play craps. Like an idiot I started running a casino-like thing at lunch. Anyways, I got caught with a massive bag of money and was suspended. My school had a policy that if you were suspended and got in trouble again you would be expelled. About a month later I jumped in and puddled and was sent to the principal. They wanted to expel me, but my parents argued it would ruin my future as I had a perfect academic record. Ended up narrowly escaping expulsion for jumping in a puddle. My brother's friend prank called their teacher while my bro was at his house. The kid ended up getting found out. My brother went in and told them he was there. They would never have known either without him admitting it. As a reward for his honesty, he was suspended for 6 days and had to clean the school. When I was in high school, I think my sophomore year, there was a senior who was expelled and not allowed to attend graduation because of a tiny pocket knife keychain in his car. It was one of those little freebie ones. At the time I believe they came with a particular multipack of film, about 1.5 inches long, with a key ring, and containing only a single blade and a nail file, I think. It was barely usable as a letter opener. The guy had one. Its ring connected to a bunch of other random keychains in a pile on the dashboard of his car. The dean happened to be walking through the parking lot and saw it, figured out whose car it was, and he was expelled for having a knife at school. Same year, earlier on, someone was expelled for a short piece of scrap copper pipe found in his locker, a leftover from some clutch repair he'd done to his car. It was considered to be drug paraphernalia. Zero tolerance is horribly stupid. I didn't get expelled, but I did have some very embarrassing accusations thrown at me by a teacher, which got me in a lot of trouble at home and school. One day I came home from school, 8th grade I think, and my bedroom had been turned inside out and all of my video games had been opened up with the discs all over my desk. I asked my mom what the heck happened and she started yelling at me about how games like Grand Theft Auto were messing me up. I did not own a copy of GTA. I mostly played JRPGs at the time. Apparently one of my teachers had called up and said I was drawing pictures of people being raped during class. Where this came from I have no idea. I even showed my parents and the teacher all of my notebooks to prove that I had done no such thing. Yes, I doodled a lot in class, but nothing that could be interpreted as sexual in any way. I think I went back through my notes and discovered I was drawing Frog from Chrono Trigger the day this accusation was made. The teacher implied that video games were turning me into a rapist, hence the thorough search of my bedroom by my parents. I guess I am just really bad at drawing. In elementary school I got a referral for drawing a bob-omb from Mario Kart, cause apparently I was drawing it to threaten other students. I was 8. I got suspended for 3 days for this. When I was 14 or 15, we had an art project where we had to pick basically any recognizable person, celebrity, sports player, etc., to paint in a certain style. One of my good friends decided to pick Eminem, so when we were in the computer room at lunchtime, he was Google image searching for a good pic. He stumbled across a picture of 2 people doing it doggy style, except Eminem's face had been photoshopped onto the guy's body and Britney Spears onto the female's. This was hilarious to us teenage boys, so as a joke my friend pressed Ctrl+P, pretending he was going to print it, and change the copies to 500. I leaned over and pressed enter. We scampered out of there when we realized they had started printing and we couldn't stop it. At the end of lunch, a teacher called my name from the other end of the corridor and I obviously immediately knew why. Got taken to the waiting room by the headmaster's office and my friend, who had been using that computer, was already sitting there. Went into the headmaster's office and we were both trying to stifle laughs as we saw the huge pile of paper on his desk. My friend explained fully why he was looking for pictures and that he had genuinely stumbled upon it by accident. The headmaster wouldn't believe him, as my friend had used someone else's account to use the internet. Due to his not working, IT continually doing nothing to fix it and someone figuring out that with some people's usernames you could put the password as password and it would still let you in. This meant our headmaster thought he had done it deliberately and was trying to get the other kid in trouble. The best part was our posh English headmaster saying, "Who is Eminem?" and I leaned forward and pointed to the guy plowing Britney from behind and said, "He is." My friend burst out laughing and we were both given 3-day suspensions. My parents weren't impressed, but it was worth it. I've tried searching for this picture since, but have never had any luck. If any of you can help a brother out, I'll love you forever. A guy at my school got expelled and arrested for photocopying dollar bills onto regular paper and trying to use them in the cafeteria. They also found a garbage bag full of them in a dumpster by his house. Last year, there was a whole operation dedicated to stealing money from the cafeteria. They would print fake tens and buy a $1 item with the fake, receiving $9 real dollars back. Of course, they varied the bills they used but eventually got caught. They made something like $900 in a week. Not expelled, but suspended. Stupid boy mucking around in art class. Teacher has had enough of it and sends him to sit in the art cabinet on his own for 10 minutes. In most Australian schools, the art cabinet is a small walk-in cupboard with a sliding door. After 2 minutes the teacher feels mean for sending him in there and goes in to check on him. He's got his pants down around his ankle and is having a wank. Continues to do it as the teacher is screaming and the whole class can see him through the now open sliding door. He is now well known around the area as the Phantom Puller. This boy is not mentally handicapped in any way, just a full-on idiot. His dad has been friends with my dad for a long time, and naturally he is one of those boys who has developed a long-time crush on me. We are now 22 and he still manages to find me whenever I return to my hometown with his pee-taking friends egging him on. This bloke sounds like an Aussie Kevin. A student at our local middle school, age 13, got expelled for selling LSD to another 13-year-old classmate during a passing period. When I was 17 I had to write a paper about what I would do if it was my last 24 hours on earth. Being a jackal's eye out things like blow stuff up and rob liquor stores. Well, my teacher thought I was serious and turned the paper into the principal who turned it into the police. I got charged with a felony for threats of terrorism and expelled for 6 months. Not really embarrassing, I guess, but funny, nevertheless. Not expelled but suspended for 2 weeks. The person was accused of bringing fireworks and bangers into school. It was party poppers for celebrating their friend's birthday. 2 8th graders from some school in a pretty upper class area were caught fricking in the elevator. On camera. In the elevator. At school. Okay then. Well, I guess the purpose of elevators is for people to get down quick. I went to a Protestant school in Australia. My very good friend had just died from bone cancer. My girlfriend was comforting me and hugging me as I was crying my eyes out. A teacher came past and told her to move away as there was a no touching rule. My girlfriend nicely and calmly explained the situation to the teacher, who responded by explaining that she was not concerned by this. I subsequently told her to get fricked. I was marched up to the principal's office in front of all my mates, a crying, blithering mess where I was told I would be taking a week off school due to suspension. My buddy duct taped a kid to a desk at his old private school, was quickly asked to leave. This one guy took a wire to a socket and short-circuited it. The entire building lost power. I almost got suspended for using Brokeback Mountain in a list of love stories in middle school. The teacher called my parents and asked if they were letting me be exposed to that sort of stuff. My parents just laughed. This kid was suspended at my school for throwing biscuits at the goths. It was funny, because he thought he was being cool by teasing them, but the goths were catching and eating the biscuits. Hilarious. A guy in my class got expelled because a branch fell out of a tree in front of his feet and they thought he broke it. I don't see why this would be an expulsion even if he did break it. In cooking class, a girl was flipping a knife around for God knows why and lost her grip, ended stabbing herself smack dab in the nether regions. She had suspended for violation of some safety rule or something, but dang, it must have sucked. Best TLDR ever. You've been visited by a dog. It's a regular dog but he's a good boy. If you comment pet pet pet, he'll let you pet him. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.